quick here. Hooked up fishing, man. That hard hitter just gonna drop a little knowledge, you know. I'll follow up in a minute. I'll briefly say you get an invoice with my jigs. They're mail ordered. I mail them to you. I've got plenty of orders that I've already shipped out, you know. But you could be next, you know. Just know that you get an invoice with them, you know. My decals, my stickers. I'm ready for the next. I mean, I've got plenty of orders that I've shipped out this year. I got to keep track of. So you could be next, man. Hard hitter hand ties, killing the crappie. Think I'm gonna go out tomorrow and show y'all what I'm talking about. Get out there on them, and I have plenty of stock ready for the colors that are hot. Just, you know, I've been tying and getting ready for orders ahead of time, so I'm not up tying all night whenever somebody orders. But like I said, I'm gonna close with something real special here. Share something with you guys about, you know, where this all came from, where it has me now. All right, get with you guys later. Now, when I was explaining to you guys this story here, and when I was taking my mama fishing at age 16, when I got my first hand-me-down car, had my driver's license, I had that motorcycle. I bought the motorcycle cash, working at Food Giant on Jensen, sacking groceries. I saved my money up and bought that motorcycle cash off the showroom floor from Bob Linsford Honda. But anyway, when I got that hand-me-down car and I took Mama fishing, I have to pay homage and respect and all, I mean, just a ton of just gratitude for Mr. Nelson. He's passed and gone away. His son is Harvey. I get to fish with his son now, because his son told me that his dad talked about me all the time, and I didn't know it, about a youngster that he showed how to crappie fish and how to use artificials, and he was just tearing it up out there with all the old folks. And you never know, you know. And it was years later that Harvey messaged me and said, "Hey man, did you used to fish the Lake Houston area?" And I said, "Yeah." "Did you fish down by the Big Eddy and stuff like that?" Yeah. He said, "You ever knew a man named Nelson?" And it was like I heard a ghost, you know, because I just got quiet. You know, you kind of know how conversations are going, which direction they're going in. Well, anyway, he proceeded to tell me that his dad, who saw me with my mama fishing with saltwater stuff and took me to get my first bait caster, which I still have to this day, and taught me how to crappie fish and read, you know, so many different things about those fish that I just was fascinated with it and stuck with it all these years. But at any rate, Mr. Nelson is directly responsible for getting me into artificial fishing with lures for crappie. And it's just, you know, so cool that his son messaged me. And adding to that story right there, as I'm editing, I need to put in there this part. Nelson's son messaged me almost 40 years later, okay, from the time that Nelson taught me how to fish for crappie. His son messaged me almost 40 years later. And when he messaged me out of the blue on my YouTube channel. I didn't even know him. And his dad had just passed a year or so ago when he messaged me. And you know, I really wanted to fish with Nelson more, but he was, like I said earlier in the story, he was more like a loner. You know, he just taught me how to do it and then let me go my own, you know. And so, yeah, I wanted to add that in there, guys. tell me that his dad talked about me all the time, and I got to fish with his son. I know his son. I mean, it's just too cool. It's full circle, man. I can't ask for any better blessings that I'm being blessed with, you know. Why wouldn't I serve a God like this? You know, he just keeps tying me in with people that he puts in my life. But anyway, moving on to all of that knowledge that I gained through all those years. That's why I'm able to kind of like read, understand, and know what's happening with these fish and figure my way out of situations of them not wanting to feed, and then knowing when and how and where and what colors and things like that. I'm saying all that to get to this. I came up with a color through watching Reggie have success with it on the body, and I incorporated it in the tail because that's all I had at the time. I didn't have that body color Chanel. But at any rate, it dawned on me that that color pattern was matching the forage right now, because those 3 weeks ago and 4 weeks ago that I was killing the crappie, limited out by 10 a.m., just having fun, taking pictures, not even trying to limit out, just having fun catching the fish. And that color pattern matched the hatch, which was buddies of mine were killing the brim because they were on beds. They're spawning. So the crappie's food chain went from shad and all of that, which they're still going to eat on because you're still going to have some shad balls. But their staple turns around and becomes bluegill, baby bluegill. There are tons and tons of baby bluegill fried there. So I matched that color and I kill those fish by matching that bluegill color and so many different variations of it. And I call it pressure because that's what it is. It's pressure. And most of them are tied on my jigs, but I may have the original pressure instead of all the different variations. I may have one in here. And that just lets me know I need to tie more that I don't. That's close to it. It's not exactly it. That's just a black and chartreuse. But I tied that pressure on a blue body, and that's your pressure tail matching the bluegill coloration. Okay, and that's what I did. That bait became super successful by just me putting that pressure tail in so many different jigs, matching that bluegill color. This is the pressure tail, and I don't have it on anything else other than baits that are already probably tied, or some of them over here for sale with the pressure tail. But that pressure tail turned out to be the hottest ticket out there on that water, and it still is right now, because you know, once they get started on the bluegill, heck, they're not gonna just stop right away. But that's the ticket, man, you know. And these hand ties, you can reach me abwilliams00791@gmail.com. You just email me. The blues go over here, and I'll get those, your information, and I can get those jigs in the mail anywhere in the world to you. You just message me abwilliams00791@gmail.com. And some people personally on my YouTube channel that I know are okay, I'll shoot them my personal phone number or my business phone number, and that way you can contact me that way. But that's what's going on, man. I just wanted to follow it up with that and let you guys know that that's just how in touch with these fish and what they're feeding on. And I got guys way up in Wisconsin. All they had to do, in Minnesota at least, just tell me what type of water they're fishing, depth, color, stuff like that, I can tie to match that, especially if I get in detail and ask them what their forage is right now, mainly if they know that on the lake. But I put a little pink in the pressure tail on that one just to experiment, you know, because it could happen too. Because sometimes some of the bluegill have a little, you know, pinkish hue to them. But that pressure tail in so many different colors, man, has been the ticket, you know. These are my personal boxes here. Those are the sale boxes over there. But I do sometimes, if I don't have a bait over here, I'll let them have it out of my personal box, which is not used. None of these have been used. Any of the baits that I use, I'll move them over to here, to where these clippers are at. And those are some of the Chanel body colors with that pressure tail that they were eating up. These baits were all successful. I used them the other day. And just that little small pressure tail with that's the body that I've been killing them with. It's a shad, something, a midnight shad, something like that. And me and Reggie bought all of it at this one place. You have to try to find it again somewhere else, because it's just a hot ticket, man. But yeah, that's before I go to the saltwater segment and tying lures, because that's what's going to be at the end of this. It's going to be me fixing some of my saltwater hard baits. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post a video with all of this information, and then some of my hard baits that I repaired, modified, and upgraded. But hooked up fishing, man, at Hard Hitter, just trying to help out, man. Any questions, you know how I operate. I share everything, you know. Like I tell you, if God blesses you with something and you clutch your hands and try to keep it for yourself, He can't put another blessing in your hand because you got it closed so tight trying to hold on to that one. He got 1 million for you, not one. $12.25 $77. So I was $16. Welcome back, Carter. Pinball machine. That's my dad putting it together. And that's my mom in front of one of my many old trucks like I have. I've always had those trucks. I like those trucks. Never owned anything else truck-wise except that old Colorado. And I'll get another Colorado. They're pretty cool. My Aunt Ruby's Ford truck that we went hunting in, and my mom's Oldsmobile Toronado. That's what it was. Oldsmobile Toronado. Yep, my old motorcycle. My 1978 554K that I bought cash money, and my dad's boat right there. It's the boat I was raised up fishing on. Yep, a little bit of history, man. That old Hard Hitter. Poor fella, he was outside and the ants was eating on him. That's the best I can do for you, man. I don't know what's going on. Nobody ties like I do. Nobody ties like I can. And nobody puts the work into a hand tie like I do. So they're very successful baits. They work 24/7. I use all exotics in my feathers. Every tie is different. You get a lot of blends depending on the color scheme, time of the year. That's where I get ideas like that from. That creature bait there caught a lot of fish. Bunch of fish on that one. I just retired it, didn't put it out there. They ate the tail off of it. They didn't like it moving so much. That was a white tail, but that chartreuse blended into that tail through years of using it. It's still probably productive to this day. I just hadn't took it back out there. It's back when I was doing painted heads. I was doing all kind of stuff with the painted heads, exotic paint. Blues and greens. Look at him, man. That's old helmet head, man. I put a lot of weight on the head where the head would always go down and the tail would be sticking up, and that bait was deadly. Old helmet head, man. That's a trick. You see, if you look real close, that's a lot of... boy, all thumbs this morning. That's a lot of weight on the head added to a already 1/8 ounce jig head. And what I did was make old helmet head. There's a nice lip right there. You can see it's just thick. That green is just about 5 dips maybe. I just kept dipping it and letting it hard until I built up a big helmet head. And that's when I was doing my colored heads. That's powder coat. That's called a powder coat. And all the heads, when I did them, they were powder coated. So you see I just dropped that on the linoleum floor from way up here, and it didn't crack or chip. I just got away from that powder coat. I like the bare head jigs better. Painted heads, nah, not my thing. My Uncle Son and my brother Timothy that they killed in them city streets, man. My brother was 10 years older than me. Timothy Earl Williams. Evil people stabbed him to rob him, you know, for money. Took a man's life. Sad. Evil world we live in. My papa, my mama, my Aunt Ruby, my Aunt Mary, my Aunt Tillum. Look like my mom over there laughing in the corner. That lady, my mama, is who I took fishing when I was 16 years old, when my mom and dad handed me down a car that my brothers and sisters had before me, a 1960 Corvair. I used to go pick up my mama and take her freshwater fishing for crappie. That's how I learned how to fish for crappie, with that lady right there. And then full circle is the fish that I've learned to fish for with her, because I grew up on a saltwater boat, saltwater fishing. that very fish that my mom ate as a kid, I was able to feed it to my mom in her latter years, and using some of the material and stuff that she had, because she made all her own clothes, suits, hats, church hats, all kind of stuff. So I was using some of her feathers and thread to tie lures to go catch her crappie in her latter years. Bob G. Now, my pawpaw and my mama were the first black business owners in City Gas, Texas, off of Wayside when they came to Houston. My mom and them were sharecroppers before that. They owned a lot of land away from Houston. They owned Lee's gas station, hamburger stand, grocery store. Also, they had a auto repair shop behind the business where my uncle's son ran that, and he did automotive repairs. And that's my uncle's son that's fishing with my brother. But I used to go crappie fishing with my Aunt Ruby off of the 1960 bridge. Wasn't even the McKay Bridge that's there now. You used to be able to pull over off of 1960 on the right hand side before you got to the bait camp that's there in boat launch. And we would fish off the side of that 1960 bridge back then and catch crappie with her. She would use minnows on a slip cork setup. And the cool part about this picture, you can see right here, that's my pawpaw and my mama in the front of the store. That's a cake that her kids made that was a complete replica of their gas station, grocery store, and hamburger stand. This is where they sold the hamburgers out of the side with a raise up thing over there and the door to go into the kitchen, and then there was a storefront. They were out in front of the storefront. They got trees in the background, but that cake was made, and my mom is just laughing her tail off over there. But yeah, that's too cool. I remember that cake. I was just a little boy, but that's awesome. Heck of a memory. Now, my dad's dad owned a gas station and auto repair shop down 2 blocks from my mom's mom and dad's gas station and hamburger stand and all of that stuff. So it's my dad's. It's our boat we fished out of. It was a 18-foot V-bottom with I think it had a 95 or 85 old Evinrude motor on the back. When I went fishing with my uncle's son later in the years, and I was using artificial baits, a couple of my cousins was talking smack to me about I can't catch fish with that plastic stuff, and I was catching fish so fast. My uncle's son told my older cousins they could pick the fish up off the floor and put them in the cooler because I was catching them all. Yep, some pretty fun memories. Pretty fun memories. Back in the days when I used to throw little fishies tandem and catch trout and flounder with tandem little fishies. Those are deadly. Yeah, I got them right here. I still use them. These little fishies, deadly. Catch everything. They got too much action. Those little fins grab the water and that tail is always moving. And man, they can't stand it. They can't stand it. But Kim, I got you, baby. Tim and Uncle Son. And that's legendary right there. Hey, well, let's see what they got. They got a black bass, couple of black bass, maybe. Oh no, them trout look like they might have been saltwater. Look like they're in the country though. I know one thing, they're happy, man. That's what I'm saying. Happy. Smiling. Can't ask for no more than that. Francis Marie, I got you. Little sis, big sis. Hooked up fishing, man. That hard hitter just sharing a little something with you guys. Show you this ain't no joke where it all came from. It's in my DNA, man. You know what I'm saying? It's deeply rooted. Nothing you can do about that. Just get out the way. Not gonna do any time. I need to go up and edit, but I'm gonna add this to the edit. Appreciate y'all, man, big time. You know, it's a journey we all on. You know, stay close to God. That's your best to do. This whole world ain't what it used to be, and it sure ain't what it needs to be. We're just living in it, man, for a little while. You know what I'm saying? Try to do the best you can. Be good to every man, women and children. Need to be worked on. Another beautiful box here. Deadly box. Too big. It's a big old bait. Forget it. Go in here. Dip that all in there. Stone comes. Filling up fast. So great. Gotta take this red and white tomorrow, just in case. Make sure I throw those hooks away and then we're good. Make it away up here. Okay, that's a plastic box. What else is in the plastic box? Tons and tons of Good fish bait there. Hooks. Big time need them cutters. This one need to stay. This one in good shape. The hooks are in good shape. I'm not gonna worry about changing them out. That's good. I'm gonna cross all of these. Just the twister and the clear. Never know. Bugs. I never threw them, but I got them. Good. Let's keep that there for now. Not worried about it. Got all of those. These brand new. Hooks need to be changed. But that box is together. It's my saltwater box. And this is all my flounder stuff here. Flounder rigs, weedless, for throwing big baits. I got some blade runners in gold. Just never know tomorrow. Break out all the big guns for this trip. Not on my kayak, so it don't matter how heavy I am. That's gonna be a heavy box, but I need it. And I'll make that a camera box over there. And food, possibly. So that should be. That box is ready. Front door tomorrow. This is all good. Some hand sanitizer. Maybe they'll go right there. Side there. Set this one up. I don't have many popping corks, but I ain't planning on popping no cork tomorrow. Me and my brother Big Boy fishing. No cork popping. I don't think. This is trash. That's a good plastic. Broke on me. Trash, that's trash. Alright. That's it. It's a tiny spook. Zara spook and super spook. I like the Zara spook sometimes. Sometimes that's all they want. So let me make that visible. That way I'll see it tomorrow. Okay, it's hooked up fishing now. I tried to use another camera. I don't know, I thought it was working. You're modifying some baits, see if I got the right angle. Upgrading, modifying, changing out hooks. But I just make sure that that hole is lined up before I get started. Got to push that silver tab back down into position. It's down snug. I've been seeing that hand starting is working better. These long screws, better to go ahead and hand start them. Give them just a little turn till a thread starts. I already got a smaller hook down at the back there, back here. Medium sized ones up here, but a big difference in hook size from what these baits come with. This is what I'm taking off of there, these giant hooks. Much bigger hook, taking those off and replacing it with these smaller hooks. Baits run better, I get better hookups. More strikes and hookups. But yeah, that's how I upgrade. And once again, I go smaller back here for those tail strikes. Medium here, take away that bigger hook. Makes the bait more buoyant and runs better in shallow water. And that's how I upgrade, modify, and really rebuild these baits my way. You don't have to put a whole lot of torque on them, just snug it down. And these are the ones I've already done that quickly. I got a box full of them, you know, that they're on the bottom of the list to get done because they're not, you know, something I'm going to be throwing right away, I don't think. That bone really needs to do some cleanup because I painted it, so I have to remove that old paint. But those much bigger hooks now are being replaced with some smaller streamline hooks and not so big in the back. And a lot of times, like I said, what will happen with these lures, with these bigger hooks, they'll hook together sometimes. You know, it's just the perfect storm or whatever. Especially this is the ones that usually do it, is those back two, and it'll cause you to miss a fish because you'll get hooked up like that and they'll work against each other and you'll miss a fish instead of, you know, a good solid hookup. So by doing that, I changed that scenario where that can never happen. Those two hooks can never hook together. It's just impossible now for them to hook together. It takes a good set of pliers to open it up some. And then you can get the hook in and bend it back. So that application there eliminates the swivel. Got it good and straight now. It's the main thing. I want it to be in line. Don't need any pliers on the application part of it. Just the hooks are real sharp. You just have to watch your hands. The hooks are super sharp. I never have liked unscrewing this back hook because it never seems to get as tight as when you first put it in there. So if I feel real uncomfortable, I can come back with a little bit of, you know, silicone or something, nothing major. That's pretty snug. That eliminates that swivel. Now it really has no way of those two coming together. Also, I didn't notice it, but I'm going to eliminate the swivel on here. Get to that one next. Camera's got a good angle. So what I'm going to do here, eliminate that swivel. Save myself a swivel. Took some getting used to these split ring pliers, but once I figured them out, I like them. I used to do all this by hand and fingernails for years. And I had split ring pliers and I didn't like them, I thought. Now that I learned how to use them, they're great. So I'm saving myself some swivels by tying it just like they do from the manufacturer without a swivel, because that's how they come. I just did a little overkill and didn't realize I did. I guess when I was doing these need the swivel, so I'll actually take the swivels off of these too. This one's done without swivels, so this one needs to be redone. This one, the rest of them are cool. Be careful taking both of these off together, because they're a little different, I'm sure. I think I just happened to know this was the one that was in the middle and that one was in the front. That's how I work. So yeah, that one lines up great. Starting a few threads has been working better. Not even starting a few threads, it'll snug up. It won't even start a turn. That's how good and snug these threads are. Mirror makes a real good product. But yeah, that's how I modify. There's a little hollow hole right there that baits that guide and anchor slides in. You line that hole up best you can before you even attempt to start. There it is, pops in place. That hole lined up best you can. Hooks are sharp. As soon as you bump against those hooks, they'll grab in your hand. Once you get a little bit of a turn, it locks that in place pretty good. And the threads are kind of coarse, so they'll find their place and go right back into the same threads that were there. And it doesn't take a lot. Once it stops, a little snug, that's it. And those baits are, you know, coming from rusty, crusty, dusty, you know, all dirty, to where I'm cleaning them up and they're ready to use again. And like I said, these are 51 MR series. This is a 704, which is a pink and white back, silver side, and yellow belly. Good color combination, man. Catch a lot of fish with that color combination. Redfish like that yellow, and the trout do as well. So what I'll do when I'm disassembling, I have a big enough table. I know this is the front one. I don't worry about the screws that much, but I may as well because I'm here doing it by myself. I have the screw up front. Once I'm able to get this thing to come out of there, because of course, you know, it went in there a certain way. And I'll have that anchor hook keeper up front as well. Okay, and the second one, when I take it out, now see that come out a little easy. So whoever put that one together probably in and out that hole a little more than what they should have, because it came out a lot easier than any of the others that I've worked on today. So I may help that out with a little something on it. But I'll put number 2 right here, so I know that's up top and this is in the middle. Hooks I get over there out of the way. And then I'm going to also change that hook out. I hate fighting it. Sometimes I could do it. I don't want to put pressure on that bait when I'm doing it to where I think I'm going to break it, so I just take it out. So I don't crack the end of my bait trying to change the hook while it's in there. I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on that boat, and I don't want to put that same pressure on the back tail piece of this mirror lure. So I'll do it like that and bend it out later. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, she on full-fledged fight mode. That stuff just cleans that bait right up. These are rust marks, some of the worst things in the world you want to try to get off of a bait. And these are actually scratch marks from that hook working back and forth. So there's nothing you can do about those scratch marks. But any other marks, and this was one of my most beat up, but it may end up being the most productive. Crack. It's not cracked. Yep. That's it. So I'll go with the smaller front hook. While I'm at it, just thread two at once. I can. Smaller front hook. Small, medium, big. Small, medium, and then the large hook at the back on the top water. And I'll do this straight out of the box. I won't fish the bait like I buy it if I can avoid it. If I have time, I'll change the hooks out before I fish it. That tab had locked on me. I didn't know it. So I can just go ahead and keep it moving. So I'll go small, medium, and large, where that bait will sit like this when I'm walking the dog. Small, medium, large. I used a lot of those mediums on those baits, so I'll just need to order another pack. These, I don't know what I'll do with them. I don't really fish with treble hooks. Good time to test my cleaner out though. Smut black stuff, look at that, man. This stuff is awesome, man. That Myers is, it's a beast, man. And they say it's even better when you let it soak. Need to change those hooks out, but I ain't got time. Yeah, I do. I'm gonna change it out. But this should work to be airtight to keep salt water out, even salt air out. So it should close right there. It needs to come down some more for it to close. So, modification nation. No problem though. Let's see how this works here. Plenty of plastic stuck all around. It's just a little makeshift something. All that plastic caked up on there. Oh well. Take it apart some other time. Get it to where it'll close. Seal, that's all I need. So that works for me. Now